everybody. It's your girl Angie, and I want to welcome you back to Angie Uploaded. If you don't mind, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Stick around, and I'm sure you'll find more videos that will be of interest. And while you're at it, if you want to hit like, that's okay too. So, when I'm doing stories, cases, a lot of times I will start reading about different people, and I was actually starting to do one case, and then this one showed up in my feed and I started reading it, and for some reason it's like when I start reading these that really get to me, I always feel like I have a connection. So this one is actually from Augusta, Georgia, and I have family that lives there. I used to spend summers there with my aunt. So it's just really weird how that happens. And also in my stories, I do have, emotions that pop up, from heartbreaking to just sad and mad. And in this one, I'm just downright pissed off. And it's not a new story, it's not a new case, but it was definitely new to me. And so I'm going to share it with you guys, and I want to know your thoughts. So today we will be talking about LaTonya Janell Carwell. Now, LaTonya was born April the 17th of 2001. She grew up in Augusta, Georgia. Her mom was Tanya Carwell, and she had a little sister. She was a sophomore at T.W. Josie High School there in Augusta. A very smart girl, and her teacher, Lori Myers, had said she was not only a student's best friend, but she was also a teacher's best friend.
She was one of those front row students.
So I guess she was just one of those good girls who students and teachers alike just, could talk easily with and have that open dialogue. So Ms. Miles had said that she was a front row kid, aspired to be a doctor, but she did notice that Janell, she was a front row kid, but lately had been sitting in the back, and she confronted her and she said, "This is not like you." But kind of left it at that. It was around April the 13th. This was the last day before getting out for Easter, and also on the 17th it would be her 16th birthday. So she had told her teacher that they had plans to do a barbecue, in which they did. They were going to do a barbecue and a get-together for Janell's Sweet 16.
She said, my birthday's coming. And of course, everybody's like, okay, you're going to wear $1 and things of that sort. And then, of course, that's when she told us that not only was her birthday coming, ready to celebrate, but there were some other things that were happening.
So, a little bit about Janell's home life. Like I said, she lived with her mom, Tanya, little sis, and she also lived with her stepdad, Leon Tripp. Now, Tanya had met Leon while he was in prison, and he had been in there for child cruelty, aggravated, and family V, battery, and a host of other charges, right? They began writing letters back and forth, and then in 2000, they eventually got married while he was in prison. And in 2015, he paroled out and paroled to Tanya's house with her and her children. Anyway, so back to the barbecue. So after the barbecue around 1 a.m. On April the 17th, 2017, Leon receives a phone call from a friend named Maurice. Maurice's car broke down in Clarksville, South Carolina. Now, if you notice, Augusta and it's right there on the South Carolina line, so it's not like, oh, I'm going hours and hours away to help this person. But anyway, received the phone call and asked Janell if she would go because he wasn't tech savvy and she knew how to use the GPS on the cell phones. And so she went, and Janell's mom, Tanya, would also be asked why she didn't go. And she said that she had brain cancer and lung cancer, and she had been inhaling a lot of smoke. And I'm assuming that's from the barbecue that they had. And she was having trouble breathing, so Leon had told her to just go lay down and that they would take care of it. Or at least that's what Tanya would say between the 911 call and the Facebook Live, but we'll get there. So the 911 call came in to report that her husband and daughter had been missing since the previous day. So they go missing, or they leave about 1 o'clock in the morning on the 17th, and it's reported the afternoon of the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. And if I am, don't come for me. The timeline on this was crazy. You can watch different reportings and you'll get a different date. Anyway, but that's where we are. It wasn't immediately after. Some time had passed. So she called in to report them missing, and she said, I've been calling, texting, and leaving messages, and nothing. So now the news outlets have picked this up, right? And interviews were being done with the family and with Tanya herself. And one was done with her uncle, Janell Carwell. And something wasn't sitting well with Uncle Charles. He said, something's not right. This feels premeditated. They forced her out of the, she was made to leave her home. And he felt like that if she was able to, if she was not being held against her will, that she would have reached out to somebody by now. But he was still holding out hope. Now, 2 weeks after Jay was reported missing, Tanya and Pastor Angela C. Harden, they did a Facebook Live. They were trying to get funds donated for a reward for information that would lead to Janell's whereabouts. And this is when Tanya had mentioned her battles with cancer. Now, April the 26th of 2017, Leon's white GMC pickup truck was spotted. Now, it was abandoned on Old McDuffie Road, and this was less than a mile from the family home. Now, Richmond County Sheriff Richard Roundtree, he said that the truck was processed for DNA, and they looked for any signs of a struggle, and nothing was found. The investigators started checking the cell phone pings, and Sheriff Roundtree said that the readings from the towers, now Sheriff Roundtree said that based on those tower readings, there is nothing that supports them going to Clarksville, South Carolina, ever. Right? There was a reporter, Ronetta DuBose. Now, she had spoken with investigators, and she was told that no call had ever been made from Maurice. the friend that had broken down. And also that Janell was an avid social media poster. She was 16 years old, of course she was, right? And after the 16th, all of her social media postings had gone silent. Now, several weeks after the truck was found, people started calling in with sightings of Leon. They saw him at a grocery store. They saw him going back and forth from Atlanta, Georgia to Augusta, Georgia without Janell, because he had friends in Atlanta. I have a whole set of questions there. How can you see this man going back and forth from Atlanta to Augusta, from Augusta to Atlanta without Janell, and how you see him several times? I would have made one. I was saying, I'd be like, whoa. But anyway, that's how it was reported. So, so there were still vigils and search parties continuing. They were still trying to find Janell. Now, Ray Montana, he's a community leader from CSRI Street Justice. And it's a group of about 200 to 300 people, and they're volunteers helping to rid crime and support at-risk people in Georgia. And he was on Facebook Live daily while he was searching for Janell. And he also organized several search parties. And he had mentioned the difficulty to the volunteers because of the 100-degree weather. Have you ever been in Georgia when it starts to get hot? Okay, I'm from there. It is no joke. And these people were out there in this heat trying to find this baby girl. So the community really came together. But many people had to bail out. And one lady even ended up in the hospital. She had to have a spinal tap for dehydration, and I can honestly believe that in that Georgia weather, honey. Now, as you can imagine, there was a lot of speculations going on at this time. And one of those speculations is that Leon was having an affair with Janell. Now, when Tanya heard about this one, she said, he is married to all this prettiness. Come on now. That's stupid.
Really? He married to all this prettiness and he gonna run away with our daughter? Come on now. That's stupid.
Okay. Took a minute to digest that, but there you go. Now, on May the 1st, 2017, a warrant was issued for Leon Tripp for kidnapping. Still, Tanya denied that there were any possibilities that Leon could have done something to Janell. Now, there was an interview that had been done with Leon's ex-wife, Makita Kay. And she made one statement and said this was, the only statement that she was going to make. This was the mother of his kids. She said, I met him in 2000. They had been married from 2003 to 2009. So she said, I met him in 2000. We have 2 girls together. Those are the only children he has. Tanya met him in prison and was fully warned. I was cyber stalked while he was in jail until 2013. Leon had many charges from over our incidents. All the cases you see online are from our marriage. I mailed letters to parole to prevent his release but I was ignored. I've helped law enforcement as much as I can. I am only concerned about finding LaTanya, which that's Janell. I lived with this man for 10 years. I'm only making one statement. I am not on Facebook for many reasons, and I am trying to keep my children's privacy and peace. They have been through enough already. She did mention that Leon was a good man when he was not drinking, but became angry when he did. He even broke into the kids' rooms while they were asleep. This is what caused their relationship to end and the cruelty charges to be enacted. Now, 3 weeks after Leon was spotted in Atlanta, investigators finally located him at a U-Haul storage facility. But here is where the plot thickens, my friends. Y'all, he was not alone. Miss Tanya was right there standing by her man. She was with him when they got him. And she claimed she was on her way to Atlanta to look for Janell, and she spotted Leon walking down the road, and she picked him up. Now, I don't know about y'all, but Atlanta is a mighty big place just to find somebody randomly walking down the road. Now, if she did find him walking down the road, she knew exactly where he was in order to find him to pick him up. Just my personal opinion. So when they got him, Leon said that they did not go to Clarksville, South Carolina to get Maurice, that they actually went to Atlanta. But when they got there, he gave Janell money to get on the bus and head back to Augusta, and she had not been seen since. Now, both Tanya and Leon were arrested. Tanya was arrested for hindrance of apprehension of a criminal, and of course Leon for the kidnapping. Police discovered that not only had Tanya been in contact with him the entire time, she had actually moved with him from Augusta to Atlanta, and they had been squatting in an abandoned house that was right up the street from one of the grocery stores where there had been a spotting of Leon. Just wow. So after 8 weeks of searching, the case is now upgraded to a homicide. The DA tells the judge that Leon has stated that Janell is no longer alive. However, Tanya's still sticking with her story. Of course, why wouldn't she? Now, Sheriff Roundtree said that he didn't believe that they would find Janell anywhere where Tanya had told them to search, which would make sense. And he also said that she had lied about her battles with cancer. There are no ends to this woman. Disgusting. So, after all of this comes out, Pastor Angela C. Harden, she does another interview. And she says, quote, "She's a liar. In my opinion, she told a whole lot of lies," unquote. And she was just basically concerned about finding Janell. You know, that Tanya, even though there were red flags popping up everywhere, you know, a lot of people believed her and stood by her and tried to help and offer their services and support and love, and just to be slapped right back in the face for their good deed, you know. But in March of 2018, the search was over. a citizen that had been surveying a vacant lot on Golden Camp Road in Augusta had found what they believed to be human remains. There was a bone sticking up from a shallow grave, and later on, dental records would confirm that these were the remains of Janell Carwell. So, the information that can be gotten from the indictment, what you can actually see was that Janell was killed by means and manner unknown to the grand jury, using Leon's hands and other objects which used offensively results in serious bodily injury. Her limbs were bound. So both have been charged with murder at this point, and coroner Mark Bowen was asked about the lack of information that was being given to the public. And so Mark responded, "The information we have, we're holding. The sheriff's department asked the DA to, and we have to do this because we don't want to mess up any justice that Janell deserves." And I can fully get behind that. Don't screw it up. And at this moment, neither Leon nor Tanya have entered a plea. The DA has announced that she is seeking the death penalty for Leon. She also believes that they hired a hitman to put a hit on Janell, and she intends to prove that this was done once in 2015 and twice in 2016. Leon's attorneys have announced that they would be challenging the death penalty and would be fighting to have all media removed from the trial in order for Leon to receive a fair trial. They will be tried separately. Ray Montana, when he was organizing his searches, said that when they were searching in the area where Janell was ultimately found, that a man came out with a weapon telling them that they were going to have to get off the property. And Montana had said, well, I realize you're renting the property, but the owner has given us permission to search. And the man with the weapon said, "No, you're going to leave today." So Ray Montana went to the sheriff with those concerns. So the bad part is that with everything that happened and everything that was shut down during, last couple of years, all cases have been pushed back. And this happens to be one of them. So we do not have a resolution as far as knowing what's happened at trial. I will give updates as they become available. Now, Janell's uncle Charles Carwell, he passed away in August of 2019, so he never got to see justice be served for his niece. But I'm sure that he would be looking down with her once all of this does come to pass. And one final note. The district attorney wanted to provide ways to honor Janell. And one of those was that a new cadaver dog was provided. It is a German Shepherd Malinois mixed. Name is Dora. And Janell's name is supposed to be incorporated in there. It may have already happened. I just have not seen an updated report where the name has been updated or anything. But she will be able to assist in finding missing people. I think that was just a great ending to a horrible, horrible story. Did it piss you off too? So guys, tell me what you think. What do you think about this mama, y'all? She makes my blood boil. Not only could she lie about having cancer, but to have something to do with your daughter's disappearance and ultimate murder, you're sick. Sick. Anyway, this is just my opinion. Please do your own research. And if you don't mind, if I've earned your subscription, please hit that subscribe button. And if you don't mind, please like the video. It helps it push it out there and helps me out a lot. So anyway, guys, that is all I've got for today. Again, my name is Angie, and I have just uploaded.